I'm Amy the Bunny Lady, and this is my partner Elusive, Ellie for short. High five. Good job, silly. Good job. And today we are going to talk to you about rabbit treats and how to make sure you know what you're giving your rabbit is actually good and healthy for them. If you are new to our channel, welcome. We give tips and tricks for how to make sure that you will have a happy and healthy bunny in your home. So if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, feel free to hit the subscription button and the notification bell next to it so that you never miss any of our weekly videos. So first, let's talk about treats as part of your rabbit's diet. So even if you're giving your rabbit healthy treats, you still want to make sure that they are a very, very small part of your rabbit's diet. Too many starchy and sugary foods can end up causing digestive problems in rabbits. So you do want to make sure you avoid giving your rabbit large amounts of these treats that we're going to talk about today. Because there are other types of treats that are marketed for rabbits in like colorful bags of like happy treats for rabbits, and they're not actually things that rabbits should be eating. So we are going to talk about the types of treats that it is actually okay to give your rabbit. And while they're certainly not healthy to give your rabbit a lot of every day, it's still okay and won't be bad for your rabbit's health to have a little bit every day. When thinking about the amount of treats that you want to give your rabbit, you really want to keep it to about a teaspoon of treats per pound that your rabbit weighs per day or less. So if you have a 6-pound rabbit like Ellie is here, that makes about 2 tablespoons of treats per day maximum. That is 3 teaspoons are in a tablespoon, so that's how you do that math. To some extent you can eyeball it. You can actually like cut your treats up into little pieces and then actually measure them out in the teaspoons and tablespoons. But you can also just kind of have a general idea of how much you want to give your rabbit and just try to keep your treats to a minimum. I tend to cut or break off pieces of treats rather than giving her like large pieces of treats at once. That way I can still give her little pieces throughout the day without worry of overfeeding her on these sugary treats. If you do want more information about how to make sure that your rabbit has a completely healthy diet, a balanced diet with all of their hay and pellets and everything that you need and the amount that you need to give your rabbit, then I do have a complete diet 101 video that you can check out. It even has complete charts and graphs for exactly how much you should be feeding your rabbit based on their weight, so that you can know exactly what is healthy for your rabbit. First, I want to go over what healthy treats for rabbits are, because normally when people think of treats, they think of getting bags of treats that have like all these fun little pieces in them that you can like give your rabbit a handful of. But for the most part, those are actually not the kind of treats that I am talking about. The best types of treats to give your rabbit are actually fresh fruits or vegetables. So things like pieces of strawberry or carrots or bell pepper can be real big hits with rabbits. Dried treats are also perfectly okay for rabbits, though. I like to cut these up into smaller pieces because they have a slightly higher concentration of those sugary starchiness because they're dried out and don't have the water in them. So I do tend to, when I'm giving my rabbit the dried treats, go a little bit less than the recommended amount. But dried treats are still perfectly okay to give your rabbits as long as they don't have any added sugar. So here I have dried banana chips, and they actually come in like big chips like this, but I will end up breaking them off into little pieces and using just a little piece like this to give her as a treat. Dried fruits and vegetables don't go bad very quickly, so it's a lot easier to just kind of have them in little areas around the room so that you can reward your rabbit every once in a while for having good behavior or for coming up and socializing with you. Another type of treat that you can give to rabbits that's actually quite healthy for them is giving them leafy greens as treats. So you can give them some extra pieces of leafy greens of their favorites, like Ellie really loves parsley, so I can give her extra little pieces of that to be a treat, and she will love it. This is particularly a good idea for young rabbits, so rabbits that are maybe about 6 months or younger shouldn't really be having that many treats because their digestion is still developing. So instead, what you can do is give them like little pieces of leafy greens, like a basil leaf, a little sprig of parsley, something like that, just to give them a treat without having it be a super sugary treat. Another type of treat that is generally healthy for rabbits is baked hay treats. So these are treats that are actually mainly hay that's been baked into a little biscuit looking thing, which is a little bit of sweet flavoring that makes a rabbit really love it. These treats can often be a little bit big, so I try to break them into pieces if I give them to my rabbit. Either that or I will obviously have to give her less treats later. But these ones are actually generally healthy. You just want to check the ingredients on the back to make sure that the first ingredient is in fact some type of hay. Alfalfa hay is actually okay to have as part of treats. So Timothy or alfalfa hay as the first ingredient to make sure that they are actually healthy for rabbits and it's not just a sugary filler treat that maybe has a little bit of hay, because the marketing is not always accurate. Another type of treat you can give your rabbit that can be good for a foraging treat, so you can sprinkle it around and let your rabbit forage for the pieces, is dried herbs or a dried herb blend. In some cases, you can even give your rabbit dried tea blends. You actually want to avoid any teas that actually have tea leaves in them, but herbal tea blends that are actually tisanes can actually be dried blends that are safe for rabbits. So something with chamomile or lavender or mint blends can actually be safe to give to rabbits. You can also purchase dried herb blends that are specifically made for rabbits that can be great foraging treats. This is one of the kinds of things that if your rabbit is a little bit of a picky hay eater, you can sprinkle some of these dried herbs into your rabbit's hay trough or their hay pile, and it can encourage your rabbit to forage through their hay and hopefully eat some of their hay in the meantime to encourage that healthy hay eating behavior. Another type of treat that you can give your rabbit is actually homemade treats. These are great because you know exactly what's going into them, so you never have to worry about like weird filler ingredients that are not good for your rabbit. Most homemade treats are made using pellets that are ground up and then mixed together with a banana mash or some other kind of fruit that's been blended down, and then you'll need to dry it out. These DIY treats are very similar to baked hay treats, except that they are homemade and you know exactly what goes into them. They also don't quite last as long unless you freeze them. If you are interested in some recipes for making your rabbit's homemade treats, I actually have an article on my website that goes over some of the recipes that I've tried that are good treats for my rabbit. Ellie has eaten and likes every single one of them, so hopefully your rabbit will too. Now that we've talked about the type of treats that you should be giving your rabbit, I want to go over the types of treats that you want to avoid. The first type of treat that I want to go over that is not good for your rabbit is human foods. This includes cereals, grains, breads, really anything that is a processed human food should not be given to rabbits. When foods are processed, it takes away the nutrients and some of the structure of the food that makes it very difficult for rabbits to digest, and it makes it so that it's not even good for them at all. Like they don't maintain the vitamins or nutrients that like fresh fruits and vegetables would maintain. But some people will feed their rabbit Cheerios or like crackers, or even try to give them pieces of bread and think that those are good treats, but they're not. These are things that you should absolutely avoid. Anything from grains like bread or crackers or cereals to rice to milk products to meat, which should be obvious. Anything like that you really want to avoid giving your rabbit because it is not good for them. One particular type of treat that I'm going to call out that you should avoid is yogurt treats. These are often found in these colorful bags marketed towards rabbits in pet stores. Rabbits will often love them because they are super sweet, but they're very, very bad for rabbits. Well, okay, having one yogurt treat is not going to, all of a sudden cause your rabbit to have digestive problems. Over a period of time, it can actually cause some serious problems with your rabbit. The excess sugar ends up causing an imbalance in your rabbit's gut, and over time it can actually put them at a much more serious risk of getting GI stasis, which is when their gut kind of stops going, and it's just a very bad and dangerous situation for a rabbit to be in. The other thing that these yogurt treats can end up causing in rabbits is tooth decay, because of the super high sugar content. It's really not good for a rabbit's teeth. And while with yogurt treats the more severe problem is their high sugar content, you also really don't want to be giving your rabbit any dairy. Cow's milk just simply does not have a good nutritional composition that rabbits can digest well, so anything dairy should actually be avoided when considering what foods to give your rabbit. Now let's talk about those bags of treat mixes that you can get in a pet store that has all these little different pieces of maybe oats, maybe corn, peas. Rabbits seem to like them, so maybe they're good for rabbits, and they even have all natural pieces, so they must be good for rabbits, right? But unfortunately, most of them are not. With these treat mixes, you actually want to make sure you look at all of the ingredients, make sure that every single one of them is safe for your rabbit, because unfortunately, even though they are marketed towards rabbits as treats that are okay for them to eat, they often contain pieces that really shouldn't be given to rabbits. Things that rabbits should not eat that are often found in these treat mixes include corn, as well as peas. Oats are actually okay in small amounts, so I won't quite go after those, but you do want to be careful with oats. Nuts and seeds are generally things you want to avoid. Some seeds are okay, like sunflower seeds are actually okay to give to rabbits as treats, but many other types of seeds are not. Some of these treat mixes also just have sugary pieces of treats that are mixed in with the other natural foods, and those should just be avoided completely. So you might find a treat mix that actually is okay to give to your rabbit in small amounts. For example, if it's just some oats with little pieces of banana and maybe little pieces of a couple other types of fruit, then it actually might be okay to give to your rabbit, but you do want to check to make sure, because most of them are not what you should be giving, and instead you should be going towards the actual fresh fruit or dried fruits and vegetables that you can actually get from a grocery store. Now obviously treats are only one aspect of a healthy rabbit diet, so if you want to know all the details about how to make sure your rabbit has a healthy and robust balanced diet, then check out my Rabbit 101 video that I mentioned earlier. It will give you all the details that you need to know, and I really do recommend checking it out. If you have found this information useful, then please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, because that really does help out. And thank you so much for watching, and I do hope that I will see you next time.